For many people, making mistakes when it comes to language learning is the biggest fear of all. You don't want to make a mistake in front of a native speaker because you don't want to look like an idiot, and that's fair enough. But in order to get fluent in a language or to get really good, you have to make mistakes in order to learn what works and what doesn't. And that's what holds most people back. So in this video, I'm going to cover mental techniques you can use to be less scared of making mistakes and to just go for it when speaking with natives. So after this video, you'll be more comfortable practicing with natives even though you make mistakes. My name is James. I'm a native English speaker. I can speak Spanish and Italian. I've got over 12 years of language learning experience. Firstly, in school, we're taught that mistakes are bad because generally in a classroom, the teacher needs to know who's falling behind and who's doing really well, and they have to grade you. So in general, if you make mistakes and you're bad at something, you get a low grade, which teaches you that's bad. However, in real life, when you're older, in the future, you'll notice that if you don't make mistakes, you're not going to learn. You have to try to do something. You have to give it a go to see what the response is from a native speaker to work out, okay, I know what I'm going to say next time. Think about babies or young kids. They say things randomly. They might say words in a different order, but the parent still understands what they want and they still get it. So they're not scared of speaking. They still say what they need to. It's just that they're not afraid to do it because they know that if they say thirsty and nothing else, they'll get some water or whatever they want. So that proves that it's something that we learn as we get older. Because if babies aren't scared of making mistakes when they're learning their native language, then it's a lot harder for us to learn language if we're scared of making mistakes. But it's not your fault, it's just how the education system is designed, so it's built into you that you shouldn't make mistakes. So, that said, how can you overcome this? Well, as it stands, you'll think of success as I want to speak this sentence perfectly, grammatically perfectly, and be understood by a native. However, go back from this and think, right, if I make an attempt at saying something to a native speaker, that is success. And that way, if you attempt to say something, even if the words are in the incorrect order or you say something offensive, the fact that you're trying to say it, first of all, the native speaker will appreciate you for trying to speak their language. And secondly, if you're understood at this point, that's a bonus. So progress or you being successful should be measured at this stage, especially if you're early, as how many attempts have I made to say something in that language. And the emphasis is on something. It doesn't have to be right or accurate. It's just you trying to say something to get your point across. But I appreciate many of you may still be scared of doing this. So let's take it a step further. The reason your brain doesn't want you to say anything at the moment in your target language is because it thinks you will die or you'll feel bad if you say something. So you need to get evidence or proof that if you say something that's wrong, it's fine. So do this. Next time you're speaking with a native speaker, say to them, look, I'm going to try an experiment where I say things that are purposely wrong just to see what it feels like for me to say that to a native speaker. Is that okay? Say that just to prepare them for what's to come. So they're ready for when you say things wrong on purpose and they know what to expect. And then at this point, you can just say whatever you want. It can be in a wrong word order. It can be one word at a time. And you can even ask them, what did I say then? You can ask them to tell you what they think you're trying to tell them. And you'll be surprised at how much they actually understand if they understand the context of what you're saying. So if, for example, tomorrow you're talking about what you're going to do during the day and you mention, I go park, dog, walk, it might mean tomorrow I'm going to the park to walk the dog. And it doesn't really matter that it didn't have the connections or the right grammar. If they say back to you what they think you said, then that's perfect. And you get proof then that, wow, I can mess up this much and still be understood. On that note, if you want to learn your target language quicker and more easily, then I do have a 30-day free email course where I send you a practical language learning tip delivered to you via email from myself every day over the next 30 days. And I promise you by the end of it, you'll know so much more about language learning than you do now. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested. And finally, what's the benefit of building this proof or evidence that you can actually say things in a different language, being correct and still be understood? Well, it means that you'll do it more often. So at the moment, you might be studying language on Duolingo or writing things down or something, but you're a bit scared of practicing because you're not up to that level yet. What the question is, what level is good enough? If a baby can say drink or thirsty, surely that's good enough if they can communicate and get what they want just by saying a word. Surely that's super efficient compared to having to use all the words in a sentence like, I am thirsty, could I please have a drink? So with that said, it means that if you know you can say the basics and still be understood, you're going to be able to practice more often and more frequently because you're not going to be as scared of saying the wrong thing. You're only scared because you're afraid of what might happen. And if you know that you're not going to die, and there's no negative consequence of saying the wrong thing, then you'll be fine to practice it more. And more practice means you get closer to being fluent or your language goal. Anyway, that's it. See you later.